My name is Ryan Scheckel. I'm Assistant Director for Pre-Professional Health Careers at Texas Tech University. Our mentor program, we call it the Pre-Health Mentor Partnership. It's a partnership between the Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center and the Pre-Health Advising Office here on campus. Only 26% of students nationally are thinking about going into graduate or professional school of some sort. And so about 1 in 4 college students is thinking about doing what pre-health students are thinking about doing, taking additional coursework, additional education, another competitive admissions process. So it's really easy for those students to think about the academic expectations and put a lot of pressure on themselves academically. But to get into, let's say, medical school or nursing school or pharmacy school, those students not only have to be high performers academically, but get involved and engage their professions and give back in their communities outside of the classroom. And so their needs are not only academic, but also professional and personal. And that's the big focus of the way we structure our mentor program, is that there are expectations that they engage with their mentors socially, academically, and personally. We began the mentor program with the specific outcome of retention. Pre-health student with the pressure of expectation, they can be a successful college student, but not be a competitive applicant for professional school. And in some ways, that is a concern for the student that is translated in whether or not they stay at this institution, complete their undergraduate degree, or even pursue entry to professional school. So we started with retention as an outcome for our mentor program, and we're happy to report that students who participate in the mentor program are retained at rates higher than the institutional average. But they also volunteered to be a part of something more than the minimum, to be a mentee, to apply, to try. The other side of it is that the experiences of the mentee and the mentor can be shared, that they aren't kept bottled up or enshrouded in this haze of mystery, that we can tell other pre-health students who aren't in the mentor program or may not have expected to hear that story, that we heard from another student who had the same struggles, or who came from a similar perspective or had the same kind of experience. You're not alone is an outcome that's hard to quantify, but you know when it's present, that feeling that the experience you're having is validated, and it isn't an experience that means the expectations or hopes or goals you have for yourself are going to come to an end. That's really powerful. I'm sure there are many who would argue that the retention number is the more powerful metric, but I think the lived experience of the mentees and the mentors, and the way that our advising office can take those lessons learned and share them with others, that has a pretty significant impact too. The mentees, as it were, are undergraduate students. We tend to look for students who are underrepresented in health professions, whether marginalized populations or low income, students who demographically may not typically aspire to those professional fields, from all across campus and all across the student body, so to speak. Typically, though, they're in their first year, first 2 years or so. The students who serve as mentors are current students at the Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center. And they're all at the Health Sciences Center in one of their graduate health professions programs. Mentorship is very important in the health professions. In all of the disciplines, there's a expectation to bring the next group along in some format. It's not all said the same way, but in, say, for example, the physician assistant discipline, continuing medical education credits can include mentoring a new colleague. The students at the Texas Tech University Health Sciences Center School of Medicine especially have a Mentors in Medicine student organization, where they run their own mentor program for pre-med students on our campus. So it's one of the joys of working in pre-health and health professions advising and student programming, is that the industry, so to speak, the folks training to become practitioners and professionals, have that expectation as that's part of the value set of what it means to be in healthcare. We require an online form be submitted after an interaction. They're required to have 5 different interactions at minimum throughout the semester of the mentor program. One of them must be social, one of them must be academic, and one of them must be service. But the other 2 are up to them. And after those interactions, both mentees and mentors fill out a interaction report. And we love reading those comments because the reflection that is asked for from the students who participate in our program is to think, how does this benefit them? That's the direct question. What did you do, and how do you see it benefiting you with your health professions aspirations? And so we've had students, volunteer at a local clinic with their mentor, and then say, I was interesting to see their mentor's professionalism and confidence displayed before them, or the realities of their humanity, their compassion and tenderness, when they thought of them as so stoic and strong. And so a lot of our community service interactions are just full of those stories of seeing somebody in a place you want to be, being a real person, not an imagined ideal. We hear stories of students who help their mentees study for organic chemistry and some of the really challenging prerequisite sciences, and how nice it is to hear that their mentor struggled with those courses when they were preparing to get into professional school. And then just hanging out, like the benefit of talking to somebody who has lived through all of the stress and anxiety and pressures of being pre-health and were successful in it, and to see that it's an end goal that's attainable, that it's not just something that might happen, hopefully, if they do the right things. It becomes embodied and real, which is an important part of being a mentor and why we run a mentor program. I think it's important to recognize that the institutional priority of retention doesn't stop with the numbers. It's hard for any institution, much less Texas Tech University, to have the effect on the world around it if people are leaving. The purpose of retention is so that lives can be changed, that the world can be changed through education and service and research and knowledge generation. And so mentoring as a strategy is not just present at the student retention level. Many of my colleagues in the prerequisite science areas and the other courses that our students take talk about how valuable it is to mentor their graduate students when they're in the laboratory settings and future faculty, but then also when new faculty come on to academic units, the value of having faculty in a mentor role, especially faculty of color and faculty who don't see themselves represented in higher education in general, the need for mentoring as a strategy to keep people here so that change can happen, so that we can see something new and positive in our future. And so that's the line of connection from a mentoring relationship through to the metric of retention, but onward to the ultimate goal of making change.